Yeah. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas. If you went on the website yesterday, or if you went on the Facebook page, you saw the promo for today's show. The promo said, two Toms and a Jack. Tom Young was my guest last hour. This hour, the second Tom and Jack. Tom Gargaro joins me, and Jack McMahon joins me. This is being live, Facebook streamed as well. And we're talking about the wings and wheel. First off, how you doing? You.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, Eddie.
Jack,
Yes,
did you see him look like who, me?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah. So, when is the event? I know we're running promos for it, and I know it's coming up. I expect it's the busy time for you with the event. Tell people what Wings and Wheels is.
Yeah, what it is, Jack and I are both here representing the Air Heritage Museum in Chippewa.
Jack's the president, right?
He's a board member.
A board member. All right.
Yeah.
So he's
pilot.
Seriously repping.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on May 21st, we're going to have our Aviation Appreciation Day. We call it, Wings and Wheels. It's also a classic car show, classic antique car show. A lot of airplanes there. Runs May 21st, Saturday, May 21st, right at the Beaver County Airport. When you go to come into the Beaver County Airport, the very first thing you see is the Air Heritage Museum. It'll be on our grounds there. There will be people there to park you. We're going to have 5 or 6 different food trucks. Graciously, Beaver County Radio is going to be broadcasting live that day.
Oh, well, I wouldn't miss it to get to check out the cars and the old planes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So we have a lot going on out there. Chinese auction, bake sale, merchandise for sale. We have a lot of wonderful, wonderful sponsors who will have tables there. McDonald's, for example, from Chippewa is going to be giving out free French fry certificates and stuff like that. So
cool.
Should be a wonderful day for the community. It's all free. Free parking, free admission. Should be a really nice time for everybody and something to sort of kick off the summer.
All right, Jack, I want to ask you about the planes. Is it carved in stone what planes are going to be available for people to check out? Or is it possible somebody's just going to land at the last minute and we can look at theirs too?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes? Okay.
Definitely the museum airplanes are there. So
Okay.
you have a C-47 that's actually out of World War II. It participated in the European theater. So it's a natural C-47. Unlike some museums that take a DC-3 and paint it, was built as a C-47.
Wait a minute. So a C-47 and a DC-3 is about the paint job? Or are they lying to people? Is it like wasabi? It's not really wasabi what we painted it green.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a lie. What they're trying to do is a DC-3 is a civilian version of a C-47.
Oh, okay. So they're...
But they're also built slightly different. So ours is a C-47. It was in World War II, participated in resupplying the Battle of the Bulge and things like that. So it has a lot of history. We were lucky enough to find the pilot who flew it in World War II when we first got it.
All right, let me ask you this. When you found him, what was that conversation like? Hey, you don't know us, but we have the plane you flew in the Battle of the Bulge?
Well, it probably started similar to that, okay? His name is Captain Fromm. He obviously was in his 80s when we first got the airplane. But he gave us a lot of information about its history, its missions, what it did, both during the war and a little bit after, because he stayed with the airplane for a while. So we got a lot of history with the airplane of what this airplane really did, besides the Battle of the Bulge, the other supply missions at the end of the war, taking wounded and prisoners of war out of Germany or out of where they were back to, England so they could come home, things like that.
You're a pilot, so I understand being a plane enthusiast, but being on the board of directors for something like this, for the Air Heritage Museum, that's above and beyond. Why is there still a passion?
Well, I think you sort of grow up with it. I think the museum started with people that have been either interested in aviation or, in fact, worked in aviation.
All right.
You have to remember this area of Pennsylvania. At one point, you had U.S. Air as a hub down in the Pittsburgh airport.
Right.
You have a reserve unit in Pittsburgh.
The 911s.
Yeah, you have the Guard unit in Pittsburgh, the 171st. So people naturally got together, both on the maintenance side and operations side, and started the museum. Then in addition to that, you have people that just had interest in airplanes. Some people that have an airplane out at Beaver County. joined the museum, and they started looking for something to do. It really is a restoration facility as much as it is a museum. So we have airplanes, and the first airplane was it's a Piper Super Cub, but the military called it an L-21.
Did the military just stick letters and numbers on stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Just, okay,
Yeah.
because...
Yeah, and abbreviations to confuse everyone, including the people that work there. But the L-21 is fairly unique, even though it's a Piper Super Cub, because it was given to Italy under Lend-Lease in the 50s. So when we got the airplane, and I don't know where we got that airplane from.
That was my next question. Did you have to fight somebody in Italy to get it back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but they got the airplane and they restored it in the Italian Air Force markings from the 50s. So,
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's in the garage long enough and you got the paint, so is that getting restored back to the American version, or is
Yeah.
it cool enough that it's like...
yeah.
And that tells people a part of the story for that plane that they
Yes.
might not know.
Right, yeah, because it's a little unusual. You know, a Piper Super Cub isn't all that unusual,
Right.
but one that was given to the Italian Air Force and has that history is unusual.
Is the Piper Super Cub the plane that the majority of bush pilots in Alaska fly?
No,
Why
no.
am I thinking that?
I'm not sure. There's I'm drawing a blank here on the civilian airplanes that are used up there, but they're
Okay.
the ones with the big tundra tires, as they call them, that
Yeah.
so they can land on rocks and
On
things like
anything.
that. Yeah, but it probably is used, but that's not the main one anymore. Don't forget that was built in the 50s, so
Right.
it's been a while.
Okay.
But we have the L-21 that'll be there, the C-47 that'll be there. There are airplanes flying in, and quite frankly, we don't know yet exactly what is flying in. That people can see. They'll be parked out in front of the hangar, for
And
them
they
to
can
see.
walk and take a close look at all this history. Tom, I want to ask you, you're a car nut. And no, that's a compliment.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
absolutely
Okay.
a compliment.
Thank you. I'll take that from you.
When you look at these old planes, does it flash you back to when you saw those same lines coming out in the old cars?
It really does, and you know, Eddie, right? The late 50s and early 60s,
Yeah.
everything about cars. First of all, every year a brand new design came out, right? And it was all about, what they called the jet age and the airplanes and the fins and the bullets in the front and
Yeah,
stuff like
the
that. So there was
streamlines,
there was a fascination during that 10-year period or so with modeling cars after what airplanes look like. So,
Right.
for us, this is a natural combination, the wings and wheels, right? With all of the wonderful stuff that we have out at Air Heritage on the airplane side. And, I have a few friends that are in the classic antique car show plane that they all love to come together and stuff. So, very few places. You can go to a lot of car shows, and of course I'm involved with one of them, right? And they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
But this is the only place I know of in this area where you'll be able to see classic and antique cars and some really marvelous airplanes. We've got some. I do want to say real quickly a thank you to Beth Laval, the airport manager out of Beaver County Airport. She's helped us along the way put this on. There are over 100 tenants out there that have planes in the hangars out at Beaver County Airport.
Okay.
And she's graciously agreed for us to help ask them pull your planes out that day. The more planes, the better, right? So I think it's just a natural that they go together.
Well, you talk about all those planes out there. I want to ask you this, Jack. Tom Gargaro is my guest. Jack McMahon is my guest, and we're talking about the Wings and Wheels event coming up at the Beaver Airport. It's May 21st, right?
Right.
When you look at old planes, does it warm your heart more than when you look at new planes because of the difference in technology?
For me,
Yeah.
because most of my experience, first of all, is military, and most of it is in what I would call certainly dated technology at this stage.
Okay.
So when I look at the current Air Force airplanes, like an F-22 or F-35, I think they're interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're foreign to me because I never flew anything like that.
Are they
okay?
interesting to the tune of $25 million per plane?
Oh, that's cheap these days. Yeah.
What a bargain! That's
That's a cheap fighter these days. They're more like 100 million.
Well, wait till next year's models come out.
Yeah, it could be.
They'll drop down. What was the first plane that you flew in the military? First plane that you flew, not a training flight, but first plane you were the pilot.
The first airplane I flew was an F-102.
Okay.
And then I was assigned coming out of pilot training in an F-106.
All right. What's the difference besides 4 more?
Well, first of all, it's a follow-on design, and so it was much different. It had different engines, different electronics, different avionics. Its job, that was back in the days the military could afford a single-purpose airplane, and it was designed as an interceptor, because World War III was going to be like World War II, except the enemy bombers were going to come across the North Pole and have red stars on them instead of swastikas.
Right.
So our job was to go intercept the bombers over
Were you
Canada.
assigned in Alaska?
I was never in Alaska. All the bases for the 106s were along what we call the northern tier. So basically inside the U.S., but pretty much very near to the Canadian border.
Okay.
Because the war was going to take place over Canada. I'm not sure what the Canadians thought about that, but
Well, that was my next question. Did anybody give the Canadians, you think maybe a heads up or something? Well, let me ask you this, because just to get historical for a second, war changes, and war changes technology to keep up with better ways of fighting wars. If there's a World War III, are planes going to be as relevant as they were in World War II, or the plane like at Air Heritage that flew in the Battle of the Bulge? Are planes as important for the next Armageddon, I guess is the question.
Well, it depends on what grade of war you want to talk about.
What grades of war are available?
Well, when you talk about what's going on in the Ukraine right now, planes are very relevant. Okay.
Right.
But the reason why the 106s and an airplane like that don't exist anymore, World War III evolved into you weren't going to be attacked by bombers. The first wave was going to be ICBMs.
Okay.
And there wasn't a defense with the capability at that stage.
There's not an airplane that can deal with those.
Yes. Now, since then, they have come up with things, but not necessarily airplanes.
Okay.
They can. But, so you're right. It evolved from enemy bombers to ICBMs coming.
Right.
And that's, in my opinion, why you went into what was called the MAD, the mutual assured destruction.
Right.
Just, build up our ICBM, so if you attack us, we're going to wipe you out.
If you blow us up, we're blowing you up.
But if you look since World War II, the wars have been more like, with Vietnam and that, so planes are very relevant. And transport airplanes are very relevant to move material around in a war like that. Okay.
Are we in the midst of some relatively speaking, low tech and some high tech means of war? Sure. You said Ukraine. If we get into a fight with Canada, I don't know why they're the loveliest people, but if we get into a fight with Canada, we're probably not going to be using shoulder-mounted rocket launchers to take on Toronto. We would go about it a different way. Is that the difference between low tech and high tech, or old and new?
Well, I think pretty much, quote unquote, the limit of wars are going to be a mixture, of what you're trying to do. It's like, again, if you use Ukraine as an example, they're sitting there with basically World War II artillery trying to wipe out the cities, okay? Yes, they're firing missiles too, but they're using a lot of artillery that's been around for a long time, a lot of tanks. Of course, they're losing a lot of tanks.
Yes, they're averaging, I think, 2 or 3 a day since this started, or more.
And that's due to, modern technology with the handheld shoulder-fired missiles to take them out. So I think it's a mix, as long as you don't get into a full-fledged global nuclear war. So.
1230 we got on military for a second.
I love it.
It's really
fascinating.
Interesting. Well, that's what these planes were designed to do, and that's why they were so good at doing what they were used for doing. Jack McMahon is my guest. Tom Gargaro is my guest. We're talking airplanes, and we're talking about I always want to say it backwards, but I'd be wrong. The Wings and Wheels event that's going on the 21st. More after this. News next on Teleforum.
As one of the first law firms in the country to file asbestos claims, Goldberg, Persky & White's success stems from a deeper understanding of our clients. Many of GPW's Pittsburgh attorneys had family members who worked in the steel industry, and their blue-collar upbringing has given them the unique ability to personally relate to the hardworking men and women who are suffering from lung cancer and mesothelioma. When choosing a law firm, choose the law firm that treats you like one of its own. If you have lung cancer or mesothelioma, call 1-800-COMPLEX. Goldberg, Persky & White. Truly working lawyers for working people.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
For an entrepreneur, life and business go hand in hand. Getting the most out of both sometimes can be as simple as a new idea or an insightful conversation. Join attorney and author Rocco Kaza, along with realtor and podcaster Eric McKenna, for The Entrepreneur Life, Beaver County Radio's newest show. The Entrepreneur Life airs from 10:30 to 12:30 this and every Saturday morning. Listen on Beaver County Radio or watch the video stream on Facebook and YouTube. Don't just get busier, become happier, and ultimately wealthier. Tune in to The Entrepreneur Life Saturday starting at 10:30 on Beaver County Radio. You can catch all the action of Pittsburgh Penguins hockey right here on Beaver County Radio.
Turn it over, it's Carter, a backhander, he scores! Make it 4 for Jeff Carter, top shelf in the right circle. And the Penguins up 6-3 here early in the third.
Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by Moon Township Ford, the Beaver County Transit Authority, St. Barnabas, Friendly Federal Credit Union, and the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning. As today's forecast is calling for a chance of morning showers today. Otherwise, it's going to be cloudy with a high of 63 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. The Republican Party held a primary debate last night at the Fez in Hopewell. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Curtis Walsh was there and filed this report.
At the Republican primary debate last night in Hopewell, candidates for the 17th Congressional District that participated were Jeremy Schaefer, Jason Killmeyer, and Kathleen Coder. When asked about legal immigration, Killmeyer said he would significantly limit legal immigration until around 2030.
I believe that we should significantly limit legal immigration in the United States until about 2030. It's time to do that.
Coder stated that the amount of guns and fentanyl crossing the border makes it apparent that we need more laws in place.
The number one cause of death in 21 to 40-year-olds is fentanyl, which is coming across the border. People ask us all the time about gun control. And you know where we need to control the guns? Coming over the border.
Schaefer said the current administration is failing us and we need to empower border guards, shoot down drones, and fix the broken system.
It's an absolute crime what's going on the southern border, and our administration is failing us, and they absolutely need to be held accountable. I would vote for impeachment of a variety of officials.
You can read more or view photos on beavercountyradio.com or listen to the audio in full on the Beaver County Radio app or streaming website under podcasts. This is Curtis Walsh reporting for Beaver County Radio News.
A 13-year-old girl who was reported missing yesterday in McKees Rocks has been found. Abigail Thews Martin was at a friend's house, according to McKees Rocks police. And as the strong storms rolled through our area last night, a tree fell on 2 cars that were waiting at a traffic light at the intersection of McMurray and Bethel Church Roads in Upper St. Clair. The incident occurred around 6 p.m., and 2 people were in one of the cars. 6 people were inside the other car. One person was pulled from the one vehicle that had 2 people in it and rushed to an area hospital in critical condition. There were no other injuries reported in the incident. A Bethel Park police officer was hit by a suspected drunk driver last night along South Park Road in Bethel Park. The officer was assisting in a traffic stop of another car when he was hit by a silver SUV without its lights on. The suspected driver was driving drunk when he hit the officer. The officer was taken to an area hospital for injuries to his foot and his torso. Police were able to apprehend the driver, and he is facing multiple charges pending toxicology reports. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano is reporting that Duquesne Light Company has launched its 2022 Community Impact Grants program to offer migrants up to $10,000 to eligible nonprofits in Allegheny and Beaver counties. With an increased total of $250,000 in available grants, this year's program will fund efforts in environmental justice, education, and social equity to align with Duquesne Light's mission to create a clean energy future for all. Applications will be accepted online today through Friday, June the 3rd. To learn more about the program and application process, you can visit duquesnelight.com/CIG. Since the CIG program launched in April of 2021, it has awarded more than $200,000 to dozens of local nonprofits, 80% of which are diverse-led. The Pittsburgh Penguins announced on Tuesday that the outdoor F&B big screen will return for all home games in round 1 of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. The F&B big screen will be located at the corner of Center Avenue and Logan Street, directly across from PPG Paints Arena. The Penguins said Logan Street will be closed to vehicular traffic between Center Avenue and Wiley Avenues for the games. The Penguins will be enforcing the following rules at the big screen. All patrons subject to search. No alcohol, no glass, no grills, no pets, no solicitation, and no tents, also no weapons or hazardous materials. The Penguins' scheduled home games against the Rangers will be on Saturday, May the 7th and Monday, May the 9th. Fans may enter the area beginning at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday and then 6 p.m. for next Monday's game.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
A chance of morning showers. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy with a high of 63 degrees today. Mostly cloudy overnight tonight with a low down to 47. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high up to 71. For your Friday, showers with afternoon thunderstorms possible and a high of 64 degrees. Taking a look at Mother's Day weekend, Saturday, showers and possibly a thunderstorm. High is going to be 62. And then for your Mother's Day, mostly sunny with a high of 67 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
I'm going to do that.
1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 95.7 FM. This is being live streamed on our Facebook page, too. Tom Gargaro is here with me, and Jack McMahon is here with me, and we're talking about the wheels. I did it. The Wings and Wheels. This is going to be massive on the 21st, and I got questions for you, Tom, but Jack, I want to ask you, I'm going to go out on the 21st. We're going to be there. We're broadcasting live. Mm-hmm. What are some of the airplanes that I'm going to get to check out?
Okay.
Because I'm like an amateur aviation geek. I know nothing about them, but I think they're all super cool.
Okay. The museum is actually two parts. There's a restoration facility
Okay.
and a museum. I mean, when you look at the concentration of veterans that are in western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, a lot of things have been donated over the years to the museum part.
Is that stuff guys stole when they came home?
I don't know where they go.
You don't
we
ask.
didn't ask
do you?
for a certificate.
Okay.
But we do have an Orden bomb site, which is extremely unusual and very rare.
Okay.
So where the guy got that, I don't know. But
That's like a pawn shop. Thank you, we're not asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so it's interesting to go through the museum.
Yeah.
There's a lot of models, a lot of things that have been donated. And then you go out into the hangar, and the hangar is the restoration facility. And we pretty much concentrate on airplanes from, we'll say, the 30s, 40s through the 50s.
Is that because the people that you have volunteering to do the work, and these are all volunteer mechanics, that's the generation of planes that they know the most about?
Yeah, well, it's a combination of that plus how we got some of these airplanes. Some of them were donated. So we have like a Funk. A Funk was built in Akron, Canton, Ohio by a little company that went out of business, built a few, but we're restoring that into flying condition. We have a T-28, which was used, in this case, by the Navy as a trainer. I think it was called the Advanced Trainer in those days.
If you survived basic, they put you in that one.
Then you get into that.
Yeah.
You have a Fairchild F-24, which was built in Hagerstown, Maryland. And the thing that's interesting about the airplanes that are being restored is you see the evolution of aviation. You see airplanes going from fabric-covered, pretty much wood, into combination fabric-covered wood and a little bit of metal, into like the T-28, which is all metal. And you can see that, and you can see the skeleton. What is the skeleton of an airplane? You see the skin, but what's behind that? What's holding the thing together? So.
What kept it fabric for as long as it stayed fabric if we had metal? Did the power plant have to catch up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the World War I airplanes, even the fighters, you're talking about something that had 80 horsepower.
Yeah.
Really fairly small engines. As the technology advanced, though, for instance, our C-123 has 2,000 horsepower in each engine. So quite a bit of change.
Moving more weight.
Yeah, that's right. Moving more weight, bigger airplane. So you see that, and I think that's what happened. So fabric was the technology at the time. That's what they covered the wood with to keep it light. And then as the power plants got bigger, planes got bigger, they went to metal.
Have you ever flown a plane that was made out of wooden fabric?
I did not. Well, let me rephrase that. Wood and fabric, no. The C-123 that I fly does have fabric control surfaces. So, but it's metal.
Ailerons and flaps, right?
Right.
Okay.
Or ailerons, the flaps are metal.
Okay, how terrifying would it be to climb into what's basically scaffolding with paper wrapped around it? Because I see video of the old pilot, the leather helmet eras.
Yeah, right.
Those guys were either the bravest people or the craziest people ever.
Well, I think it's a difference in philosophy. Someone asked me, when did you decide to become a pilot? And I said, I can't remember ever wanting to do anything else after I gave up wanting to be a fireman. So 5 or 6 years old, my goal was to become a pilot.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to be able to do that. So, does it scare me to get into the airplane? No.
No,
it's just, to me,
you've lived your entire life with it and you understand how it works.
I hope so.
There's a comfort in that. Hope so. I don't want to hear that if you're taking me up in a flight. And so your pilot comes on and gives you the speech. All right, we're going to fly, and I hope I remember what this button does.
As the saying goes, if you see the pilot walking down the aisle with a parachute on, follow him.
Okay. Grab onto a leg. Tom, let me ask you this. People that know you, you're a massive car guy. What's the emotional connection? Because obviously it's not just an event when you talk about this. There's an emotional connection to the Beaver County Airport and to airplanes. And it's not just because they both had fins in the 50s. What is it?
No, it's not just that. My father in World War II was part of the Army Air Corps, I think it was called back then, before the Air Force existed. And he was a meteorologist.
Okay.
So when he got out of the service, he got a job with the National Weather Service. And he was a meteorologist for the National Weather Service out at the old Pittsburgh Airport. And the old Pittsburgh airport, a lot of people remember that. The main floor was like stores and restaurants, and second floor had some sort of big ballroom. The third floor was only the meteorology department. And back then, no computers or anything, so they had to work 24/7. They actually provided all of the weather to the television stations, the radio stations. That's where everybody got their weather. The pilots, if Jack was flying out at 7 in the morning and hypothetically needed to come in at 4 in the morning for a weather briefing, somebody had to be there that could actually tell the weather. So, things were way different back then. This was in the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah.
My dad would take my brother, sister, and I to work on 3 to 11 or midnight during the summer when we were off of school. And we would help him. He'd be sending out these, they called them radioson balloons, which would have equipment in them that would, I don't know, pick up
The
whatever.
wind, direction,
Right.
speed.
Atmospheric.
We'd be up on the roof of the
barometer,
airport, and he'd say,
yeah.
okay, we're going to set this balloon up. And then when he was busy, he'd say, just go keep yourself busy. And we'd have the run of the airport. We'd have, the run of the tarmac, the run of the
Okay,
airport.
were planes coming in and out at the same time that he let you loose in your little playland?
Typically, no.
Okay, well,
not when he knew where we were. We made sure that we weren't doing that. But my brother and I would sneak out and watch. Like a plane would be taking off. I can remember so vividly, right? And we would be standing like right outside. The plane is sitting right on the tarmac, and it's getting ready to fire up, whatever the correct term is, Jack. And we'd be standing right up against a building and feeling all that wind from the jets and stuff coming like that and stuff. So I was around airplanes most of my life. What goes on over there, heritage, is just a natural connection for me.
I got you. You mentioned you're refurbishing a lot of old planes.
Yes.
Do people bring their planes in from all over the country to get refurbished?
That happened at one time. The way the hangar was built was actually by a guy who was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Flew, got out of the Air Force, and became very successful. And he started buying up airplanes. His name was Tawishe.
Okay.
And he would buy an airplane and turn it over to various museums to restore. Our C-123 was actually purchased by him originally out of the Boneyard in Arizona.
Is that the famous picture where it looks like mile after mile of parked planes out in the desert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Davis-Monthan. We call it the Boneyard, but it's Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. And,
Okay.
But he purchased, I think, 4 or 5 of them.
Well, sure, once you're there, you might as well grab everything.
Well, at one point, I'm told, I never met the person, but I'm told he had something like the 5th largest Air Force in the world.
Just a guy.
Yeah, I mean, he would buy
Imagine.
P-47s. Again, after World War II, you could buy this stuff from the government for almost nothing compared to today. Okay?
Right.
But he had all fighters and transports and bombers and things like that. So we got the C-123. Why it was decided Pittsburgh got the C-123, I can't tell you. But we sent a group out to the Boneyard,
Okay.
refurbished it to bring it back to Pittsburgh, or Beaver, to put it back into flying condition. So we had a one-time...
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't in flying condition, but you refurbished it to get it back. Did you drive it back, or
No,
did you get it,
they
you put
flew
a
it back.
spare on it?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, they spent, I think it was 6 weeks. It was in the Boneyard for 10 years.
Okay. So a month and a half to get it to come here.
Right.
I
It's
got you.
on what they call a ferry flight, one-time flight. And so it got back here and spent another 11 months here,
Okay.
11 and a half months or something, to be gone through to put back into normal flying condition. So, and this is in the early 90s. This is like 91, 92. So.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. We're going to fix it enough to get it somewhere else to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Tom, you hopping in a car that's explained to you?
Yeah,
I'm sure he has.
That's why-
Yes, yeah, that he worked on too.
that's why he's the pilot and I'm not. A car is one thing. Okay, I'm going down the road. I'm going to take it from place A to B to
Yeah.
repair it, and it breaks down. I
Yeah.
can call AAA. The
I'm not
difference
falling
there is-
30,000 feet.
Yeah, there's a big difference there.
Is it, would it be remotely possible to take a modern plane and make it a private owned plane and work on it?
Well,
We were talking earlier about technology and fly-by-wire versus computers and all of that.
I mean, it is possible. You have certain groups that museums that are flying like F-4s.
Yeah.
Okay, so relatively modern. I mean, certainly not the most modern.
Well, Vietnam era, right?
Yeah, right. And a little bit after that. You have another group that used to fly F-104s, okay?
That must be fancier. It's a bigger number.
Yeah, not exactly. That's a long story if you want to get into that about the numbering system in the Air Force. But the 104s were about my era. You know, they were designed in 50s, 60s, okay? But there was a group that was flying 3 of them. So, and they're full jets, so you do have the expertise to work on some of this. What has changed now, the Air Force, and I believe the Navy does the same thing, you can't get a modern airplane with an engine. You know,
they'll sell you the carcass, but you got to get your propulsion somewhere else.
Well, and you probably won't get the engine.
That's my next question. If they won't sell it to you with the airplane, how hard is it to get?
Yeah, because they don't want them flyable.
Well, then why are they selling them? Well, they're selling them, what do you call it, static?
Yeah.
Static. They're selling them to look at.
Right. And actually at our museum, I didn't mention that, outside you have an F-15A model.
Okay.
Which is relatively, I mean, it's still flying in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an A model, so it's one of the first back from the 70s. And we have an F-4C model. Neither one of them have engines in them. Okay, but the airplane is there, so you can see the airplane.
So you can see the airplane. Right. The event is May 21st. What time does it start? Because this sounds like something you want to get there early. There's going to be a whole lot of things to look at.
I agree. There's going to be a lot to look at.
Is your Cadillac going to be there?
My Cadillac will be the first car there. I'll be there 6:30ish, 6:45.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be kind of making everything put together that day. So officially it starts at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
All the vendors will be set up and ready to serve. We have like a company called Pittsburgh Crepes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they'll sell you like a crepe for dinner, but they'll sell you a breakfast crepe with bacon, egg, and sausage and stuff in it.
Savory.
Yeah, we have a woman bringing. This woman is from Ethiopia. She will have Ethiopian coffee that she roasts and grinds fresh right there. Right there. We have a place called Rescue Dogs. Believe it or not, they sell gourmet hot dogs.
Okay.
Right? And they actually, all their proceeds benefit the Light of Life mission in Pittsburgh, the homeless mission there. Another place called Some Like It Hot on Wheels, they sell like hot sandwiches, you know, cheesesteaks, Cuban sandwiches and stuff like that. My wife is actually making, Judith, she's making 100 cakes to sell.
So 60 cakes will make it there when you pull
Well,
in?
yeah, she has me, you know, taste testing them as
Sure.
we go along, which I don't mind, Eddie.
You got to contribute.
I do it for the cause only. So
it's to help everyone.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there. It's going to really be a phenomenal amount of stuff. We do have some VIPs. Community College of Beaver County is a huge, huge partner of ours, like Beaver County Radio.
Dr. Davis is the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just the greatest there. They support us year-round, actually. You know, they do a big event with us at our facility. They really do the event called Touch a Plane in October. You know, CCBC has an aviation school. Yeah. They have a, I don't know what you call it, Jack, but they train people to work in the tower.
Yeah, they do.
Air traffic.
Air traffic.
Air traffic.
Yeah.
It's one of the best air traffic programs anywhere.
That's what I'm told, too.
Yeah.
So they're great, great partners of ours. And they will have, like, their flight simulators there. These things they had at the Touch a Plane event, I didn't find time that day to do one because I always aspired to be a pilot but never made it there. But where you can sit on a computer, and I guess there's video games like this today, I don't know, but where you can sit on a computer and it actually, and you can control like you're flying. You know, so it's their computerized version of a flight simulator, all free. All this stuff is free and should be, nobody will be bored that day, I guarantee it.
If you always wanted to be a pilot, what's stopping you? How long would it take, Jack? He decides, I want to be a pilot. And what's the timeline on it?
Well,
we're not giving him a jet at the end. We'll give him a little top wing, you know, one of them Buddy Holly killing planes to start out.
Normally you have to put in about 40 hours. So it
40 hours, dude.
Yeah,
I could do that next week, Eddie.
After the 21st, you
well,
can.
that's true, yeah.
40 flight hours. So,
okay.
And it depends on how many, you know, how often do you want to fly in a week? Once a week? 3 times a week, you know, so, but, you know, normally it first of all, it's expensive, you know, if you go the civilian route, because I don't even know what it costs today, but it not all that long ago was like $100 an hour plus.
All right, so you got to enlist first.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll
You could
take
take my
me.
route
It's
and enlist.
65, but well, if I could tell you a little side story, just 1 minute.
Absolutely.
Like Jack, again, being around planes all the time. From the time I can remember, I thought the only thing I wanted to do was be a pilot.
Right.
So when I was a junior in high school, we had like a recruitment day. We're in a cafeteria of the high school. I don't know if you guys experienced this, but the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, everybody'd show up.
They
you'd
each
go to
have
the
a day and a
cafeteria.
table. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So I walked up to the Air Force guy. I was a junior in high school, and I said, if you can tell me there's any chance of me ever being a pilot, I'll sign up a year ahead of time right now,
Right.
a year before I graduate. He's sitting at a table like we're sitting at. He looks up and he says, how tall are you? I said, 6'4". He said, too tall.
Yeah.
And like my dreams were crushed.
In
And
2 words.
Really. So fast forward 4 or 5 years later, I've done some odd jobs like a lot of people did, couldn't find where I wanted to land. And I just decided, I said, I'm going to go back and talk to him. So I went to the Air Force recruiter downtown Pittsburgh, walked in and asked him, and he said, yeah, I don't know who told you that. What? He says, you could.
Yeah.
You can fly at 6'4".
Yeah, there's some planes you can't fly, but the
Right.
concept, yes.
So I said, I'm in. I went home. I told my dad, who was okay with that.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the next day, Duquesne Light Company, the electric company, called and said, we want you for an interview. And I said to my dad, well, I'm not even going to that interview because I'm flying.
I don't want the baggage in case it goes well, and stay focused.
Right. My dad said, you could join the Air Force next week, the week after, the week after. My dad was all about keeping all your options open.
Yeah.
Long story short, they made me an offer. My dad said, listen, a utility job is a job forever.
Yeah.
A private company job, airlines, steel mills, they may not be forever. And off I went. And that's how it happened. So I've talked to my wife about maybe flying now. It's not the time. I think the money I could figure out. It's more getting Judith to nod her head in the right direction.
It's more getting the okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I should have asked about the event? The event, it's going to start as soon as Tom rolls up with all the cakes. It's at the Beaver Airport. It's May 21st. That's a Saturday.
That's correct.
That's a Saturday. Is there anything that you wanted to let people know that I didn't ask you about?
I would just say it's a very, very family-oriented event.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of things. We're going to have some of our sponsors there. CCBC, for example, will have a big spinning wheel where kids can win little stuff. We are going to have, as we do every day, Monday through Saturday out at Air Heritage, we have not just shirts that say the Luck of the Irish or the Thunder Pig C-133.
I noticed it when you came
right?
in. Yeah, I did.
We're both wearing our colors here today, right? But we also have model airplanes and stuff like that for sale. So it's really designed to be a family fun event.
Okay.
And I just, everybody, please. My dad's a retired meteorologist, long gone now. I say hello up above to my mom and dad every day. I never ask them for anything.
Okay.
But I do say, hey, Dad, like May 21st, sunshine, that would be appreciated.
And he's got the background that he could use the fancy words.
I'm telling you. So that's about it. Thank you.
My only comment is if you don't come, you'll regret it.
Oh, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there early and not even for the cakes.
All right.
Good.
Well, that's good. They'll probably be gone.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, it was wonderful talking to you. The event's the 21st. It's Wings and Wheels. Jack McMahon and Tom Gargaro have been my guests. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
For an entrepreneur, life and business go hand in hand. Getting the most out of both sometimes can be as simple as a new idea or an insightful conversation. Join attorney and author Rocco Cazza, along with realtor and podcaster Eric McKenna, for The Entrepreneur Life, Beaver County Radio's newest show. The Entrepreneur Life airs from 10:30 to 12:30 this and every Saturday morning. Listen on Beaver County Radio or watch the video stream on Facebook and YouTube. Don't just get busier, become happier, and ultimately wealthier. Tune in to The Entrepreneur Life Saturday starting at 10:30 on Beaver County Radio. You can catch all the action of Pittsburgh Penguins hockey right here on Beaver County Radio.
Turn it over, it's Carter, a backhander, he scores! Make it 4 for Jeff Carter, top shelf in the right circle. And the Penguins up 6-3 here early in the third.
Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by Moon Township Ford, the Beaver County Transit Authority, St. Barnabas, Friendly Federal Credit Union, and the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority.